get a video out here, talk to you guys and gals. Not enough gals in here in the real estate market. So look, I just want to tell you something. I am super excited. The country's going to be under new management. That's a huge thing. Last time he was in control, I thought we were kind of going down the tubes, and he managed to pull it out. You got a pro-jobs president coming in, and we're talking about real jobs, not government jobs, real jobs from drilling oil, building buildings, just absolutely everything that has to do with, your local economy growing. And, so you saw the thumbnail. Listen, I've made a fortune buying real estate locally. There's so many yo-yos out there, misleading people, telling them it's easy to make money this way, that way, and the other way, and they've never even made money that way. I've seen people that are practically illiterate explaining how to make, millions of dollars in giving loans. And a lot of people out there that don't have two nickels to rub together actually pay to get into a loan program to learn. They get an LLC and they're saying, oh yeah, file for, credit, go to the bank and try to get credit in the name of the LLC. And they keep doing this over and over again, and they end up really destroying the value of any chance of getting credit for the LLC, because every time you go to apply for credit, it looks odd. It looks like you're searching for money and nobody wants to give it to you. So, I'm going to be doing a mentorship meeting, a webinar, if you will, this Thursday, and probably every Thursday. Might even do one at 4 p.m. Thursday. So if you want to talk to somebody that's actually made tens of millions of dollars in real estate, buys locally, I don't know anybody that can do, take a look at that thumbnail. I don't know anybody personally. I don't know anybody that owns as much property locally and has bought as many different kinds of property. I buy everything: houses, commercial, industrial, office, trailer parks, food parks, trailers. It doesn't matter. If there's value there, there's money to be made. And so who's out here? Who's watching today? Anyways, I'm gonna, if you haven't gotten in a webinar, I urge you to do so. Also, if you don't have my book, get my book, Wake Up and Smell the Real Estate. It's been a bestseller on Amazon, Audible, and Kindle. Sometimes and I'm a little bit conflicted here, just if you bear with me a minute. Look, I get people that want to get in the class that don't have any money. And the first thing I ask people, if they're 30, 40 years old and they don't have $10, $15, $20,000, first thing I ask them is, what went wrong? How is it you don't have 10 grand and you're 30 years old? How is it you don't have 50 grand and you're 40 years old? And, people say, I did this and I got a divorce. And I understand that, I can't personally relate to it because I've never been broke. I've never been broke, folks. I've been, started at 19 years old, and I was broke when I started, but I've done nothing but build my wealth since. Hey, Chris, good to see you in here, buddy. Both Chris, I got a Christopher Williams and we got Christopher Parker, and both Chris Parker, also a good friend as well. Also met him through the mentorship. I've made friends all over the country, through my mentorship, and and it's just you start to care about the people that are in the class, and it's just a cool thing to see families evolve, and we have people having kids, we have people having their first babies, we have people getting married when they're 40, we have people making their first million. All right. Okay, Chris says, currently flipping a contract for $23K, first assignment deal for you. Wow. Is it local, Chris? I'd like to hear about it if it is. But anyways, that's great. Hey, Trent, good to see you in here. So, like Chris is talking about making $23,000 on what I call an assignment. You guys like to call it wholesaling. Most of you do. And I started out doing that a long time ago. An assignment or a wholesale deal is kind of a hedge against if you just happen to can't beat it, or maybe there's not enough money on it that you don't really want it that bad, so you can pass it off to somebody else. Oh, not in my area. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, I appreciate that. Yeah, and I'm game. I've got two sold, one in Round Rock and one locally that you would be aware of. But I'm really, really excited. Hey, Rusk, another millionaire from the class. 2 millionaires from the class now, actually. It's really, really cool. Listen, those of you that are watching, if you have, listen, I know there's so many choices out there, so many bad choices, to be quite honest with you. You won't see me collaborate with a freak or a fraud, and that's why you don't see me actually collaborating too much. but there is opportunities out there, and some of the guys you see in the class right now, or that are watching right now, have made, damn near $1 million or $1 million and maybe a couple million that are in here now. And some I have students that made over $4 million now. So it's really, really exciting. And for me, it's quite rewarding just to be able to go out, in my last, whatever, the sixth inning, whatever you want to call, 60 years old, and just actually be helping my fellow man and seeing families kind of make things happen for themselves, because I've had it good. You know what? I've had it good. I've struggled at times, but I've never gone bankrupt. I've never gone broke. I've never not been able to pay my bills. And I started with nothing at 19, no family to pull on, nobody. I mean, a tiny bit of help, My dad was the most encouraging, but he didn't have any money. But talk about somebody that believed in me. There was nobody that believed in me like my dad. Hey, Virgil. Good to see you in here, Virgil. So I just, I really am so excited about 2025 because of the results of the election. I just think there's just fantastic opportunities for anybody that's new in real estate, of course, but I mean, that's always the option. For anybody new to real estate, listen, good times, bad times, you can make a fortune. It doesn't matter. I bought 4 houses, I think, in the last 6 months, and I've sold 2. I got 2 that are in escrow selling right now. In fact, I had to give up $1,000, no big deal. Today to one of them, just to try to help seal the deal. And but I think what you guys need to know is the deals are locally. Everything that you really want to do is local. So many yo-yos try to tell you, they're going to say the AI lists that are in this other state in this city where it's hot. Well, and guess what? They're selling that shit to everybody. And now everybody's bombarding these poor people out there, and really nobody has a chance to get a deal over there except for the guys that are local. The guys that are local are the ones that can make it happen. And so I just thought I'd take a moment, and we can talk. I could probably put the phone on here too. But look, Chris and Russ, these are guys that are in the class. You guys 100% agree, right? Deals are local, or what can you tell me? Chris Wilson said, I love local deals. Just find tenants because of the crash. Oh, wait a minute. Renting out in 2008. I need readers. Hey, Tom, was retail commercial still renting out in 2008 bust, or was it difficult to find tenants? No, the worst time I've had, it was fine. The worst time I've ever had it finding a commercial tenant was during the COVID hoax. During the COVID hoax, it was very difficult. It was very difficult, because basically we were locked down outside of it, and so that made it very difficult. Just people were locked down; they couldn't move, and then to add on top of it, it just the uncertainty. Businesses require certainty. That's how you take investments. That's how you make. You make deals, or you project for the future. You got to have some certainty in the market, and that kind of uncertainty, everybody just kind of hunkers down. It's like, shit, where's this going? At first, when the whole thing started getting perpetuated, people weren't even that worried about it, right? Because we never had something come in where the government just tried to shut everything down and just basically. Just confine everybody to their homes. And that had never happened before. So even when it was happening, the COVID was starting, when I'm going to call it a hoax, because it was a huge hoax. I'm not saying that COVID doesn't exist. I'm saying that the way it was handled, it was manipulated to make people very, very rich off shoving the cure, or what they called the cure, right? The cure that doesn't work. Vaccination that didn't work, all that shit. The vaccination that wasn't the vaccination. The vaccination led to more and more shots, one shot after another. Come on, get your booster, all this stuff. Where, look, I had COVID, and I donate blood regularly. And when I went to donate blood, they said, oh, yeah, by the way, you had COVID. No big deal. They don't care. But now I had the antibodies, and I never got sick again from it. I didn't even get sick from it from the first time. But I had people that work for me. I had friends and associates. Their jobs pressured them into getting the shot. They'd get the shot. They'd get sick immediately. Many of them, not all of them, but many of them. And others, even after they got the shot, they got sick. So I actually think it probably took down their their immunity, made them more susceptible to the effects of it. That's my experience from what I've seen around me. Obviously, it's not a scientific test. It's just going by what I saw around me. But so look, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. I've never been so excited since the results of this election. It's just been, it's really been, the last 4 years have been a huge downer. Just watching the inflation go through the roof, which it didn't need to do that. Watching the, just watching everybody, watching the young people, young to me is 40, right? I'm 62. Seeing young people discouraged and disheartened over, no, I'm never going to own a home and that sort of thing. And that's not true. It's not true, believe me. Anybody can do extremely well in real estate. All you got to do is try. But it's nice, and I got the best class in the world, I guarantee it. And I want you to take a look at it and put some of those classes in the group here right now. You can ask them questions while you're in here if you want. If they're listening, I think they're still paying attention. But these are people in my class, and guess what? They're doing exactly what I've done. They're loading up. They're kind of just following some basic fundamentals that I'll teach you, and they're putting it to work, and they're doing, look at all these properties. There's more than I can even fit in this screen. I mean, hundreds of properties I've purchased over the last 43 years, and many of them I still hold today, and hundreds of thousands of dollars in rent coming in every month to buy more property, right? Or, to do whatever the hell I want to do. And that's what I want for everybody watching. So if you just got here, listen, I'm probably one of the only mentors out there that can make a claim that I can throw a rock either direction, land on something I own, keep chucking that rock, and I'm talking, these are rocks thrown away from each other. Every one of these deals, I personally bargained for, made the deal, signed the contract, closed the deal, hold it or flipped it, and, made the profit. And my students are replicating my success, and I want you to be a part of it. All these guys you see behind me, and some gals, making tens of thousands. I got many millionaires in the class. Some of them specialize in land. I've specialized in land. I've flipped a lot of land. I've flipped a lot of buildings. I've made millions on apartment buildings, made millions on houses. I've made millions on just about everything you drive by. And that's what's so important. I don't know what that was on my phone. So anybody wants to jump in? Okay, good. This is perfect. Flibdoki, I love this. He says, keep shilling. So this is good. Okay. Oh, you don't need to keep shilling the courses, etc. It gets boring to watch over and again. I understand that. I do understand that. So I want to talk about that. So, and I feel bad sometimes when I do this. But again, for the new viewer, I have to go in here and be a shill, right, to promote the product. Maybe not. Maybe you guys can tell me a different way. But again, I'll take questions, man. Flip, I'm open for questions. You want to ask a question about real estate? I'll change subjects quick. Tell me about where you're from. What are you working on right now? Unfortunately, and have you bought the course? Because you don't sound familiar. But the thing is, I have to brag here a bit in order to get the attention, to get people to go to the website to take a look, to see what they're missing. But likewise, at the risk of boring my existing clientele. So you got to remember that everybody that's in the mentorship, most of them don't even watch this. After they get in the class, they don't need to watch it. They're living it. We do a mentorship meeting every Saturday, 3 to 5 hours, and share the deals that each other's making. And it's very, very infectious and just very, very motivating. It really is crazy good. So Flib, please expand, speak a little more. There we go. Oh, you're in Australia. God damn, dude. No, won't buy. Love the videos, but the course stuff does get boring. Shit. Yeah. Well, I figure somebody's going to complain. It's going to be somebody that didn't even buy the course, right? But no, I appreciate you hanging out, and I appreciate the kind comments. And actually, we have somebody in Australia, too, that's in the class, at least one or two. But so I appreciate that. And so, listen, we'll talk about anything. Chris, or anybody here, whatever you want to do. We can go look at a fake guru. I don't care what we do. I don't have any friends out there in YouTube as far as to collaborate with anyways. But all I can tell you is I am passionate about real estate. And for the reasons being, and and just look at every one of these. So maybe I can make it interesting to you this way. Every property you see here has a unique story. Every single one of them. There's a story behind it of some sort. I guarantee it. Whether it's a little old lady and man that I met that led to a deal, or it's somebody I saw that led to an opportunity. There's some of it I can't even share on here because some of it is like proprietary in as much as it's the kind of information I reserve only for my students because it is so powerful and it is so damn profitable when the stars align, so to speak. But what I want you to look at is just, this is why a lot of people, when I get in a car and I do a live from my car, I start talking about, I say, oh yeah, I bought that. And people are like, oh, that's bullshit. Well, it's not bullshit. This is it. This is really it. I do drive by all these. I drive by properties. I drive by the properties I own and have owned every single day. Okay, Flib wrote pros and cons, commercial versus residential. That's a good one. It's super easy too. So it just, and I appreciate the question, man. Please keep them coming. So the difference between commercial and residential, the pros and cons. So look, and I'm glad you asked that because I can show you here. So look, I'm going to show you a building. Here's a commercial building, right? This is a restaurant that I bought, and I bought these 4 properties in a row, right here, all the way from here. I own from this house all the way to this restaurant, right? All of these properties I own. Now, these are residential. I bought these properties on average anywhere from $105,000 to $229,000, and actually the restaurant I bought for $730,000. But so here's the difference. And on the same street, I own a lot of property, right? So let's just get down on the street. So look at this, because this is a really interesting thing that can happen. Let me come down here. All right. So look, here's commercial. Here's a restaurant that I own. In a restaurant, this had a different set of troubles. But let's just talk about houses for a second. So houses actually, they're kind of maintenance heavy, and I'll tell you why. Take a look. With a house, right? I got to almost go down here to take a look at it. But you guys know what I'm talking about. When you have a house, you've got a yard. Look, you've got all this yard. You've got you've got at least 2 bathrooms on average in a house. So you have these things that can break. When a tenant moves out, you have all this carpet and shit to clean. You got, you don't have any of that shit with a commercial building. You don't have any of that. So look, I have a little commercial building that's a beauty right around the corner. I'll take you to it right here. So now here's a commercial building. So when I rent, and by the way, this little building rents for the equivalent of, 7 houses, right? It's not bigger. It's a lot smaller than 7 houses, but it rents for a hell of a lot more. Well, here's the deal, and this is the pros and cons about residential versus commercial. And this kind of extends to everything that's not commercial. That's not residential, right? And that is when somebody loses their job or a business. If a business goes out of business, they leave. If somebody loses their job, they just stop paying rent sometimes, right? They stay there. When there's damage to the interior of a residential property and then somebody moves out, you got to fix all that stuff. They call it a make it ready, right? Well, I ain't got to do that. In fact, I did a really good video on a white box. Son, look up white box. Look up white box videos and see if you can find where it is or what it's called. Ryan, look up white box. I did, I got a video, and in fact, it took place in this particular place. See, with the advantage is I just deliver a white box. In other words, all I have to do is clean painted walls, no carpet, nothing. Now, let's just say I had a flooring tenant move out, just before that. So all this shit's gone, and I may paint the walls white and clean, but I might leave whatever's on the floor, whether it's tile or wood or whatever they did. I might leave it, and because then the tenant that comes in, if they want it, they can have it. In other words, certain improvements I'll leave. Like if a tenant moves out of I had a tenant move out of a vape shop not long ago, and it had look up white box in our videos. I did a video on white box, and maybe I'll show it to you guys here now. But the deal is you don't have to take care of any of the inside stuff. And look, on an industrial building, look, this is actually another good example. Let's just go down the street. Commercial, industrial, those are kind of synonymous with each other, right? They're businesses. So look, this is a 20,000 square foot flex space that I have. This has had a carpet store. I've got a nuclear physicist in here. I got these super brilliant engineers in here. And I just signed another lease worth, $250,000 just from one tenant, just in this one building. So, when the commercial, you're going to have tenants that pay you $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month, single tenants. That happens. I've got schools. That's a Montessori school that rents from me. But my point is, back to your question, is you don't have, like, this building, this 20,000 square foot building, it has 6 toilets in it. 6 toilets in 20,000 square feet. Okay? Now go over here. There's 6 toilets in 4,500 square feet. Carpet and all kinds of stuff. So there's just much less mechanical to go wrong in an industrial building. Also, typically we got triple net leases. If I have a bar, I let them pay for all the air conditioning. They pay for, everything. If they want a new air conditioner, we buy a new air conditioner. In other words, because they're wearing it out. They're the ones wearing it out. Things you can do that you can't do with other things. So let's see, Christopher, let's read some of the comments here real quick. We have a 5-plex duplex, 3 single-family homes. At what point should we start looking at larger properties? So, Chris, what I would do is you need to look at different properties. You should probably start looking at converting, because you're perfect, right? With a lot of the stuff that you have here, and I'd have to talk to you. If you sign up for the mentorship, I'll talk to you about it anyways. Or you sign up for the webinar, or sign up for the webinar, and I'll talk to you about it. But at a certain point, like I'll take, like you can see all these houses, right? I'll like to take a handful. Like let's just say I have something that's $2.5 million. Well, but I have 4 houses worth $600,000 a piece, $2.4 million. So maybe I'll sell 4 houses and roll those houses and all the profit. And there might be $1 million, might be $2 million profit in 4 houses easily. I flipped 3 houses recently. I say flip. I sold 3 houses. I held them for a while, but I had over $1.6 million equity, and I flipped that. And what do you think I bought? I bought a piece of I bought like an industrial. I'll show you what I bought. I bought this building here, and you guys probably know this, but I bought this building here. So there you go. There's a 16,000 square foot warehouse that I'm not responsible for anything inside, other than making sure the air conditioner works and that the plumbing runs. But it's only got like 2 or 3 toilets in it. But I traded 3 houses that I paid $400,000 for that turned into now a property worth over $2 million. Christopher wrote, Chris wrote, Chris, what I've learned, if you wake up every day and dig for gold, yeah, you're right, you're going to find it. Like Chris says, it really is like looking for treasure. And that's why, I tell people, these people say, oh, yeah, I want to get in a local thing and make all my new best friends, sub-2 does all this BS. And nobody seems to make any money that I've seen. Because why would you share your treasure map? You don't share your treasure map. There's plenty of gold prospectors that are buddies and they talk in the bar. I'm talking about real gold prospectors that are prospecting for gold. But they don't talk about their hiding place. They don't talk about where their claim is. They don't talk about it. Finally, that comes out while I'm talking to Chris. Anyways, it doesn't matter. The net. That's it just however this is the beauty of real estate. You can make any deal you want. You can make the terms anything that you and the seller or you and the renter decide on. You can create anything. You can create a situation where you have the first right of refusal to buy. You can create an option. There's things like that. You can create it where you have the right to sublet. It's all over the place. So Flibdoki says, was the loan for your second, third property difficult to get? I assume at a certain point it becomes easier. So that's a good question, and that leads me back to pointing to you the thing you hate to look at, my properties. But I'm gonna do it anyways. So let me just show you something. So the very first property I bought when I was 19, this seemed like the biggest building in the world to me, right here. That was 5,900 square feet. I had no idea I could buy it until I talked to the agent and realized we could do owner financing. So I bought this building with 10,000 down, and I didn't have the money, but I got a 6-month escrow that allowed me to save the money. Again, this goes back to the beauty of real estate. You can make terms that suit you, right? You make terms that suit you as a buyer. It's like, you want to buy it? Yeah, I want to buy it. And believe me, when a buyer and a seller get together and one wants to sell, one wants to buy, as long as everybody's decent and they kind of like each other, and sometimes the seller will kind of bend over backwards to do what he has to do to help you buy the property. And in this case, they weren't doing me any particular favors. I never even met them face to face, but I made the only offer that I could do, and that was I could buy it if they gave me 6 months escrow. And so I put $500 down, 6-month escrow. At the end of 6 months, I came up with 10 grand. Again, that's what they did for me. It was kind of tough times. It was 1981 back then. But I did the same thing, all these buildings. And again, look at this is back when I was in my 20s. You see these properties all near each other, and there's a lot more that still aren't far away, right? And these are everything you can think of. There's even an overpass here. I used to own an overpass, right? Or I should say they took my property from me to put in that overpass you see above my head. So, so anyways, there's just so many different things you can do. But let's go back here. Let's see. Chris Wilson said, houses where I live, 60 to 150,000. Yeah, that's all right. It doesn't matter. Should I bought houses for 34,000 when I first started. We did owner finance for our 2 most recent deals. Congratulations, Chris. Flib says, oh no, I love looking at your properties. Good stories. Yeah, I tell you, there's so many stories. I'll tell you a real quick story, only because this lady, Lillian Kalari, that's the person I bought this property from. Property I bought basically is, the property I own is right here off the side of my ear here. Property I owned right here. So the city took the property from me to accommodate this. Well, Lillian Kalari, nice old lady. I never met her personally, but there's a couple things that happened. There's 2 little houses on this property. I think that's the first one. And then there's a second house. I got a feeling they tore it down. It was right about where my cursor is. Anyways, so this is like 1983 or 4. I can't remember exactly. So I made a deal. I got this owner finance, 10,000 down, $60,000 or $64,000. I think I paid for it. And Lillian Kalari, she had it. And we've been talking over the phone, and we're making our deal. And right about the time we closed, she tells me she lost her thumb. She lost her thumb, and I'm like, geez, how'd you do that? And she said that her kids and her family, they were pulling down a tree. They weren't doing a good job, obviously, where they had ropes and stuff tied to this thing, and they're pulling it with a tractor, and this thing they're trying to pull it over with multiple people hanging on to stuff. And she decided she was going to help, and she's holding on, and she looped the rope around her thumb as she's pulling, and then something broke where the majority of the people let go, and then this giant tree just acted like, a slingshot. And so now little old lady's the only one really hanging on to this thing. Even if she lets go, the thing's tied around her thumb. The thing takes her thumb, just rips it off her hand, and they never found her thumb again. It just was probably, a mile away. But so that's part of that. But another interesting story, not as gruesome, is when I walked through the house. There's a second house. Her and her husband used to hang out in this house. They'd come and visit. It's more or less a cabin for them. So this one was rented out. This little house was rented, and then the little house in the back was, maybe it's still there. Maybe that's it. I don't know. It was a dump. But anyways, I go inside there, and I had to cut the lock. I walk inside. First thing I see on the ground is LA Times, and who's on the front? Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali had just reclaimed his, I think it was Joe Frazier, I can't remember, but he had just reclaimed his title, and that was the title. So that newspaper had been delivered 8 or 10 years before I opened that door, and it was just sitting there. And it was kind of creepy because I come in, I turn on a light, it was like a dimly lit bulb. There was an old-fashioned radio, and I'll come back to that. There was an old-fashioned radio, and I turned that on to see if there was power coming on. So I turned a few knobs. didn't work. Walk over, I see a very, very old dead rat on the floor. There's still food in the fridge from 8 years ago. Then I said that newspaper, which was really pretty cool. I wish I'd have kept that too. But so then I walk around, and it was just kind of weird just coming into a house that was dimly lit. Been so many years that it had been open. And I'm standing there, and remember I told you I was messing with that old-time radio. Well, those old-time radios have tubes, and they do turn on. They just take time to warm up. And I had turned the volume all the way up without realizing it. And then so I'm already like kind of, feeling a little weirded out. It was very, very dark inside. And then all of a sudden that radio lights up and turns on full blast behind me. And I'm not kidding. I about peed my pants and hit my head on the roof. I jumped so hard. But anyway, there's a story right there. The other story on this is financial. The city came and they wanted the property, and so they took the property from me by eminent domain, which led to an eminent domain lawsuit because they didn't want to give me enough money for it. They were shelling out $6 a foot over here, and they were trying to shove $1.75 down my throat over here for this. So we fought it, or I fought it. It was a tough battle, but I won. I should have won more, but I ended up getting, I don't know, I got 5 times, what I paid for the property, but it probably should have been closer to 10. Let's see. What do we got here? Chris wrote, we did want to finance the other 2. Anyways, but yeah, so yeah, that's it. Like I say, all these properties, there's just so many great stories here, There's, making 10, 15, 20,000 a lot over here times, 60 lots. My first home that I ever lived in, right there, 25 years old, and I had this gorgeous home right here, surrounded with doctors and lawyers and, people that had been established far, far longer than I have. And here I am, 25, living like a king. And, and these are the kinds of things that, you guys can do too. You can do it too. Promise you can do it. You just got to have a little guidance. And, and I know this, it's been proven out by the success of my students, guys like Chris and Russ and others, it's just really, really awesome. And I love it. So, hey, if you just got here, please hit that subscribe button. If you want to learn about real estate, you found the right place. And go to Flip Anything USA. I got a webinar. If you go to there's a link below, you can click on that. I'll just show you real quick, but just go here to Flip Anything USA. You can click on webinar up at the top. Yeah, right here. You can see webinar here. Click on that. That takes you to this page here. And then just fill out that little tiny form right there. And then you'll get notice and you'll be invited in and you can get a link and you can come in. You can talk to me face to face. Okay, what else we got here? Saeed, I bought a burnt house for $5,000 and I don't know what to do with it. Well, dude, that will take some time to look at. Yeah, hey, Paul. Yep, great. Yep, MAGA, buddy. I agree. You bought a burnt house for $5,000. Well, yeah, there's some, and I'll just give you guys a tip here right now. A burnt house can be a very, very huge advantage. In any property that still has a little bit of slab or even a little bit of a wall, you can when you go to pull a permit, I mean, if it's wiped off the map, if there's not a wall standing, the city, this isn't a blanket statement across the country, but in general, they're going to make you pull a new permit. But if there's any remnant of the house, you can technically do a remodel. Now, it's usually much easier to do a remodel. In other words, getting the permitting done. There's a lot of stuff you don't have to do for a remodel that you have to do for a brand new home, starting from scratch. So there's some real opportunities in being able to, take something that needs a little work or that you can expand or you can make the property bigger by just expanding whatever the shell is. And believe me, I've seen properties that, the whole house wasn't worth anything. But the fact that it was there, that's what was all the value. So, you sit there and then all of a sudden you build 4,500 square feet, around a 600 square foot structure. And it is a remodel. It is it's an addition. And it's easier to get to fly through the city. I don't even like to build anymore. And I've done a lot of building. I built some of the houses you've seen, or built some of the buildings you've seen. But the fact is, You can't make as much money when you build and you buy and you make brand new. If you're making it brand new, you got to pay full retail for everything that you buy, right? Maybe you get a deal on the lot, but that's it. If you buy existing, and you can see, look at this behind me here. If you buy existing, you see these buildings, all these little buildings that I own, offices, commercial, industrial, retail, houses, it doesn't matter. If they're already existing, they have the power to be completely paid for, which means somebody has the power to sell it to you for less than it would cost you to build new, and so that's a big part of it. I would just consider looking at doing just do an addition. I don't know why you bought it. If you don't, you should have known. You should already have those plans in your head. I wouldn't have bought it if I didn't have a plan. Unless the lot's just so awesome, maybe it doesn't matter. But so, anyways, I don't know if you guys got any other questions, but if you do, I'll be sure to answer them. Anyways, I just can't tell you, enough good things about real estate. And extends. I got a place down here at the beach. When I was 25, I thought I was gonna, find me a little Pamela Anderson, beach blonde gal, and I had a lot of fun here, but I really bought at the wrong beach. Beautiful as this beach is, it has like newlyweds and nearly deads. A lot of old people. It just wasn't. I remember being out here on the sand, and I thought, well, I did it. I finally got my beach house, and I looked this direction, nobody there. I looked the other direction, and there's like an old lady with a poodle about 1,000 feet away. And I thought, this doesn't seem right. And it was still fun, but it wasn't nothing where I should have bought. I can tell you right now. I should have bought the other direction. Boy, that's weird. Port Hueneme. This almost seems backwards to me. Port Hueneme's there. So you look at the coast. Not every bit of coast is accessible in California. But then you get down here and you start to get to Santa Monica. And look, I was born in Los Angeles, so I know these areas. Santa Monica, you're going to get to the pier. You should have like a circus thing. Yeah, there it is, right? This is where I should have bought. When I bought that back in 1986 or 7, whatever it was, where I should have bought is here, because this is where this is where the young people, the fun people, the pretty people are. You got to remember, in Los Angeles area, being handsome or pretty is an industry, right? Hollywood. This is Hollywood. A lot of gigs for actors and actresses and models, and the weather's good, year round for shooting videos and movies and that sort of thing. And but this is funny. This is El Segundo. They call this El Smelgundo if you're local, and that's because of all this oil refining stuff. Still beautiful beach here. You can ride a bike right across the front of this. No big deal. But the other thing that's really a weird thing is where LAX is. Look at LAX. Look how this LAX airport, look right in front of the airport, that they bought this entire neighborhood, and then they mowed every house down. See that? Isn't that wild? I'll tell you what, I could put up with some plane noise to live here. But look at all these streets, these all used to be houses. In fact, once in a while, if you look, you might see like a set of steps somewhere, but they actually scraped it pretty damn clean. But that was a whole subdivision of homes, and and all this stuff is gold. I mean, the property here, I kick myself for not buying some of the properties I could have bought, and I can even recount some of those if you like. Stop with should've, would've. Yeah. Well, you know what? Listen, it is good to remember your mistakes. It is good. I mean, believe me, I drive by certain properties and I say, idiot, and I'm talking to myself because I'm mad at myself, because I think I'm the best at this. And if I let something skip or go by, then I just remain upset with I don't like it. It's not productive. But I don't like to lose. I don't like my students to lose. But you got to be hard on yourself. You got to be hard on yourself. You got to, and you listen, you look, I let things slip between my hands that I could have made millions of dollars on. Here, I've done it elsewhere too, But most of the times I get everything. But once in a while, oh, you made a mistake today? Oh, shit, Liam. Damn it. What's wrong with you? But that's what I'm talking about. You'll make less mistakes the harder you are on yourself. That I promise you. So you'll have to let me know what that mistake is. Maybe if you want to call in, we'll talk about it. Actually, I don't have the phone up right here. But anyways, I'm just telling you, it is, I feel so lucky. I don't have to work. I wake up and I work out. Every morning I work out, and, except on the weekends. And I go to jiu-jitsu a few times a week. And not everybody has those options. And I know how lucky I am because, believe me, I come from a family where my parents didn't have such options. But it's all out there. Like my dad used to say, he'd say, you got the world by the tail and you can do anything. I tell my boys the same thing, and I'm telling you guys the same thing. It's true. Especially the younger you are, you just want to learn from the old guys, right? You want to forget about learning from the young guys. The young guys are full of shit. Most of the guys are full of shit. They don't have the experience. But so don't be swayed by cool and that sort of thing. I'm telling you, but there is a fortune to be made, and there's nothing makes me happier than showing people what I know and helping them find a path to success. And young guys like Chris and Russ, 3 or 4 kids, living the dream. Know they're going to be all right. Already making a lot of money, and nothing better than making a lot of money when you're young. And because I'm lucky, I was one of those guys, and so I want to see more of them. So, anyways, I guess I'll call it quits here. But if you guys can, please remark under the video. Just say I watched to the end, or this was awesome, or it sucked. I don't care. It helps the channel. But also, hey, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, and I'm going to do a webinar this Thursday. So be sure to get into that. The webinar is going to be this Thursday, 7 p.m. And I'm just kind of I wasn't even going to do the webinars anymore, but I'm kind of re-excited again. I'm just kind of rejuvenated with Trump winning and just knowing how he actually brought the economy back quite a bit when he had taken over from before. I was expecting things to crash. Miraculously they did not, and you're just going to see things keep getting better. That I know. I've been a big Trump supporter for a long time, and in fact, oh, look at that. There's me and Trump. Forgot I had that button here. Yeah. So, and look, and even if you are a lost liberal, I don't care. I'll still teach you how to make money. But I'm telling you, this guy here is the savior of this country in the biggest way you can imagine. He knows what he's doing financially. He understands business. And that's what we need. Believe me, that is what we need. We don't need government jobs. We need real jobs. We need jobs that come from people buying and selling. Look at this. You got the whole United States here. So much damn oil in our ground. So many natural resources like nobody else has. And we got it all right here. But unfortunately, it's really easy to sway and corrupt the people that represent us. They get corrupted and bought off by lobbyists that are from all these different countries. And so they don't always do the best thing for our country, for the USA. And so it's super important to keep that in mind. You got to remember, there's where there's power, there's corruption, and that's just how it is. Hey, Anderson, good to see you in here, bud. And so, Liam, you'll have to tell me more about your mistake. But I'm telling you, very, very excited, and we are going to have a great 2025. Figure out how to turn this camera off or this picture. There we go. But man, just I'm so happy. I'm happy for my 4 children, and I'm happy for everybody else and their children. And it's just things are on the comeback. They're definitely on the comeback. So don't worry, it's going to get better. But if you want to get into real estate, you gotta step up and start looking into it and start getting build that knowledge base. And it'll make, Chris here's going to make $23,000 just goofing around, and that's small. Chris has made some big profits, over $100,000, since being in the class. So, anyways, I'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. Hit that subscribe. Look forward to seeing y'all soon.
and listen. Time is on a mission to eliminate all of the snake oil and the fake gurus that fake y'all. He'll show you how to build an empire, starting with nothing but a desire. All you really need is a good mentor, not a used car bullshit. With time, you'll learn to crush it. Investing like Warren Buffett. With real estate, you cannot procrastinate. Everyone who hesitates is left at the starting gate. Hey, yo, so don't delay and join today. The mentorship and flip anything. USA, go.